As the leader of the Booner Pack, I lead from the front.
All right, boys. Lock in.
It's our core foundation, man. Grit.
I'm fired up. I'm fired the up, boys.
It's pumping right now. It's got my juices pumping, boys.
Welcome to Crunch Time Sports with Jeff, Booner, and Lukas. It is Friday, June 27th. We are back. All right, we are back after a long day for Boone at the Rocket Mortgage Classic.
Yeah.
Take a look. Take a look at this guy.
I'm going to say it. My face, I know I look very burnt. I'm not like, it doesn't hurt.
Does it?
I'm good. No, not at all. Dude, this is the problem I've run into. As we talked about the other day, Sicilian. I have the pale skin. Typically, I burn and then tan. There's something about this week where I burnt earlier in the week. Maybe I didn't let it settle enough, and I didn't know I could burn twice. Like, I could get red twice. Didn't know that. I just thought I was just going to get tanner and tanner. Typically, that happens. Typically, I just get tanner and tanner. Some reason, I'm getting redder and redder, bro. I don't know what it is. I've never had this. This has never happened to me before.
I mean, it was hot.
Like, look at this.
It was 90 degrees. Oh, my gosh.
I'm getting killed out there, man.
Gosh.
I'm supposed to be Italian. I'm disappointing the family.
Disappointing your ancestors, dude.
Yeah, man.
No,
it's all right.
It was 90 degrees, fully humid. We were out there. It was a lot of fun, man. Guys are, I mean, wow.
It's crazy, man. I'm out here battling.
This guy's an arm sleeve. Like, this guy's a straight
I got double arm sleeve.
Yeah, that's they got the
double
mellow
arm sleeve
with the Knicks. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I respect it. No, I respect it, man. We were out there today. It was fun. I mean, more guys are breaking records every day. There's a guy that sets the course record for like 10, 11 over. I think Knapp shot 11 over today.
Yeah, Jake Knapp. Yeah. He broke the course record. Yeah, again, he got a 61. It was crazy, dude.
So,
dude,
the crowd was electric. It was lot.
It was packed today, man, on a Friday. It's crazy. I'll say this too, Jeff. I don't know if you've had if you're watching, like the people in the chat watching, like if you don't have anything to do Saturday, Sunday, just go. Like, I think it's the coolest thing because everywhere we turn, like we're like sitting at a hole and it's like walking by us, like, oh, Spencer Torkelson. And then like we're walking again, it's like Tim Hardaway Jr. and his dad and Tim Hardaway. And then when you guys left, I was at another hole just sitting there and right next to Tim Hardaway Jr. again with like a bunch of people. And I'm like, it's just everywhere you go, there's someone. And I don't know, it's a good time. It's great.
Yeah, that it is. There was I think that definitely helps promote the event. Guys coming out showing some love. I mean, the fact that we, in a 5-minute span, like you said, Spencer Torkelson's with the people, with his girlfriend, just walking around watching golf. And it's always how it works in public with celebrities. One person notices them, and then everyone looks. It's almost like you get the confirmation that dude's famous, and everyone.
Was I the one that accidentally tipped the hat to the people?
Well,
he walked by. Oh, that's Torque, and the boys were like, "No,
out.
It's not." No.
Well, no. You said.
You said no. I know your antics, Boone.
No, you spotted him right away. You're like, that's I got Spencer Torkelson, and then I saw 3 guys, probably, younger guys, look over and they're like, "Is it?"
Staring at him.
And then as soon as I think it was that was Max Homa. I think as soon as Max Homa putted, everyone started walking to the next hole, like hole 14
everyone
or whatever.
Starts saying, Torque,
and then everyone just starts swarming Spencer Torkelson. It was like, he's like,
he's
hey,
a
Torque,
good dude,
hey,
though.
Torque. Yeah, and then after that, he just vanished. So I was like, he probably was like, I gotta get in a different spot here. This is tough,
Yeah, no, he was cool about everything too. He
took a
didn't
photo
tell
with the
anyone,
boys, man. He was super cool, super nice.
He knows crunch time now. For sure.
Definitely. It was awesome. It was fun out there, man. Again, another hot day. It didn't rain until just now, actually. I don't know how it is by you guys, but nice weather, good time. We did a review. I bought the wrong sandwich. That was an L on me.
I'll say I was already going through it, and when you bought the wrong sandwich, my heart dropped.
I made it worse. I know, I did. I felt
tomorrow. No, you're good. I know, bro. Tomorrow we'll do the chicken sandwich and everything.
I know. Boone goes, let's review the chicken sandwich. I'm like, okay. I go up to the thing. I order like Rick's fucking
completely like the opposite of what we were going to review. It was like the complete
you reviewed
opposite.
like a Cajun turkey sandwich or something. I'm like, and you're like, you want some? I'm like, no.
I would like some credit for pushing through that situation there.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, it looked good. I was like, I'm okay.
It was good. Yeah, but it was like
Great.
10:30 in the morning, and it was like I really don't want a Cajun sandwich this early. Like, I mean, I didn't post the review yet, but
just throw that in the trash.
You can watch it back and just be like, this might have been the most weirdest review, and it's just Jeff with just a normal cheeseburger.
The cheeseburger was good. Their burgers are always good, man.
Hey, when you left too, by the way, you guys left the food in the media center. There was the chicken sandwiches, as always. They have that where you can make your own chicken sandwich. But then they had like, dude, pasta, some ravioli with some white Alfredo that had like, I don't know if you like mushrooms and cheese inside the Alfredo or the ravioli, potato wedges, like,
oh my god,
green beans, grilled chicken. They had it all, man. It was good.
Yeah, they took care of the media. They always do. They took care of there. Had drinks, water, everything we needed.
And we got this today too.
Yeah, I got the Max Homa, or not Max Homa, sorry, Cam Smith.
Cam Davis. You were almost there, man. You almost had it.
3 times.
Cam Davis,
bobblehead. Champ, 2-time Rocket Classic champ. And I think he won 2 in the last 4 years, 5 years, something like that.
Yeah. Did you open yours yet?
Yeah.
Is it signed? There's 100 of them signed. It would be right on his chest. You got to put the things in there. Did you throw the box away? There's little Rocket trophies in the box. Did you throw the box away with the trophies? You got to go find that box, man.
It looks like he's just like.
No, yeah, he's got trophies. You put the trophies in.
I didn't know that. Damn. Hey, we're going to have Corey on in a second here. Covers the Lions and the Pistons. It's something very unique, honestly. He's the only person that does that, I think, to my knowledge. Covers both.
In the state, for sure.
So he's killing it for MLive.com. He'll be joining us in a couple of minutes here, but we got a lot to get to. We're going to talk a little more about Chaz Lanier, the new second rounder, the sharpshooter from Tennessee. Confirmed, not Bob Lanier's grandson.
So it's not. Okay, that's good to know. I had no clue.
Not Bob Lanier's grandson. And then we got some Lions things to get into. Anzalone tweeted something again about some PFF stuff, hyping up the Lions linebacker room, signaling to the Lions he wants to get paid. And then we also have the Lions, the PFF defensive line rankings, which I actually dropped a video today and broke it down. And some people were roasting me, and that's fine. I have no problem if you disagree with my opinion, but we'll talk about it today. So at least we have Booner's thoughts on it too. So maybe I'm not as crazy. We'll see what Boone thinks about that.
What did you? I didn't watch the video, so it would be a shock to me what you say first, because I'm interested in what you think about the
D-line. No, it's good you didn't watch it. Now we can just you just get a raw reaction.
I wanted to have a good show. No arguing today. I'm just gonna.
Yeah, I see. Jay Hart. That's his nephew or cousin. There is a relation. There is a relation. Oh, okay. Well, let's just ask Corey, man.
We got to figure that out.
Let's have Corey on. Let's talk about it, man. Let's get his thoughts. What the Pistons are kind of doing this offseason. The draft is kind of relevant, even though they didn't have a first-round pick. But please welcome to the show. Covers both the Lions and the Pistons for MLive.com. Friend of the show, one of the best in the business, my guy Corey Woods. Corey, how are we doing, my friend?
Hey, what's going on? How y'all guys doing this? Evening. I'm about to say afternoon because it's still light out, but
Yeah, it's throwing everything off, Corey. Corey, yesterday was interesting. I mean, it's weird for me, and I know you have a different job, but I know you can relate to this. In the past, over the last 4 years, 5 years, 6 years even, I've been invested in the draft, the NBA draft, knowing a lot of these top guys, and understanding a lot of these top guys. This year, the interest dropped off significantly. The Pistons are good. It's fun. It's exciting. So when they do pick in the second round, they took the player Chaz Lanier, which Trajan spoke to the media and made it very clear, we're going to take the best player available. It could be a guard that could shoot the ball. It ended up being a guard that could shoot the ball, or a wing, or whatever. He didn't, it was kind of Brad Holmes-esque. We're going to go BPA. When you saw the pick, now that you've kind of had a day to dig more into it, I know some people were upset. They wanted the Pistons to go center, forward. They took basically a sharp shooting guard with looming free agency with guys like Malik, Tim Hardaway Jr., which we will get to. But what's your thoughts on just kind of who they took and the value of selecting someone that can shoot the damn ball, Corey?
Well, you stole my thunder on one part of it, but we'll let that slide.
Oh,
but I'm messing with you. Just in all seriousness, when Ryan Kalkbrenner was selected by the Hornets, I was like, okay, that's a guy that I had pegged to Detroit because of his height, his defensive ability. The Pistons needed another guy behind Jalen Duren. I know people are going to say, well, they got Isaiah Stewart. They needed another center to go out there and be a defensive presence for them in the low post. So when he was selected, I'm like, okay, well, BPA, best player available. And they got Chaz Lanier. Now, when you look at this roster, the Pistons do have some free agents looming. They only have 3 guards under contract right now. Cade Cunningham, Jaden Ivey, who's coming off of a broken leg, and Marcus Sasser. So when you factor in that Tim Hardaway Jr. might be one of the odd men out, you might have priced yourself out of retaining Dennis Schroeder, and Malik Beasley is going to probably command some big bucks as well. You need to go ahead and still add some shooting. And right now, the Pistons have been trying to develop shooters over the past couple of years, even as recently as this past season. So what do? They went out and got a guy who is a 40% career three-point shooter in college. And, it is at North Florida. I believe he was hovering just shy of 20 points, 19.7. Was shooting 44% from beyond the arc, if I'm not mistaken. When he got to his last stop, Tennessee, he did a little tick below 39.5%. Around 18 points. You can use that. You need that. So I think the pick was a smart and sensible one because what have we been talking about with this team? They need some more scoring, especially in that second unit, and they got it.
Yeah, Corey, I do want to ask you one thing that stood out to me a little bit is I did see a lot of Pistons fans and people actually talk about Trajan trying to trade up, trading up in the first round to maybe get some better I would say a more talented player, which I think Chaz Lanier is very talented, or even going into the second round, there were all these teams that were trading back into the second, that were trading up in the second. Did you feel like maybe Trajan should have been a little bit more aggressive in getting into the first or even back into the second to add some more talent, especially trying to add pieces around Cade, a stretch big, like you said, with the Creighton guy, and even maybe more shooters?
No, I think he played his hand well. A lot of the teams that were just making a lot of movement, at least in my opinion, were teams that desperately needed to do that. I don't think the Pistons were in that position. I think right now they're in a position where they could stand pat and not give up any assets and select the best player available and try to go ahead and retain some of their free agents and go get some guys in get some more guys in free agency, some veteran players, because they already have a young core as it is. So. And then they got another young piece. I don't think they need to go get a bunch of young pieces. I think they need to bring in some more veteran talent with the young group that they already have. So I think that he played his hand just well.
Yeah, Corey, I think the big question mark, it's more so people are focused on free agency and kind of what the Pistons are going to do, especially with just kind of the East. You have Tyrese Halliburton goes down, Achilles injury. It's terrible, but he's probably going to be out for a majority of next year. You have Jason Tatum, Achilles injury. So those are really 2 teams that were battling to get to the finals last year. But when you look at some of the how the East stacks up, the Magic got better, of course, but people are looking at the Pistons like, hey, man, it might be wide open for us. And I think Trajan cleared a lot of that up when he spoke to the media and kind of talked about, hey, we want to grow this thing organically. I know people have PTSD from Troy Weaver, but I have to tell people like this is a little different because Trajan is better than he is. So we have to kind of treat every regime a little differently. But when you look at free agency, you have 3 guys that are pretty significant that are free agents. One of those players, Malik Beasley, Tim Hardaway Jr., and then who's the other one? I'm blanking. Dennis Schroeder. The 3 guys they want to bring back. Just in your opinion, you could start with just the free agents for the Pistons. I'm sure Bruin will ask more about free agency and kind of what they want to do, but just start with the re-signings. They've been in contact with them. Malik's probably going to get some interest in free agency. Guy was one of the best shooters in the league. How do you kind of see this thing playing out? I think I wanted to ask the people later, out of the 3 guys, how many do you see the Pistons potentially bringing back? And how difficult would that be with Malik and the interest from other teams?
I think Malik might be a little bit difficult because I believe he's going to command a significant bag. I mean, just look at what he did. He's one of the few players in history that have hit as many threes as he's hit in one season. So I think he's going to command a significant bag. I think one of the pieces that could be easier for them to retain will be Dennis Schroeder. Schroeder, I believe the reason I believe for that is just the way that he was bounced around last season, and now he landed in Detroit. He found a role playing behind Cade. He knows he's going to see the floor if they need that backup floor general, and that is something that I got raked over coals for the past couple of seasons when I said the Pistons need a backup point guard for Cade. Well, they don't need a backup point guard. They got Ivy. They got this. They got that. No, you need another veteran presence out there. That's why they tried to get that's why they got Monte Morris last season, and it did not work out. So, well, season before last. So, yeah, I think that Dennis, in my opinion, I think that he should be the main focus. Not saying that you don't try to bring Malik Beasley back, but trying to go get that veteran point guard that knows his role and is comfortable in the system is not always easy. So I think Schroeder should definitely be high priority, and then try to see if you can work something out with Malik, because I just personally think that he may have priced himself out of Detroit.
Corey, I don't think we haven't spoke with you since the Trajan press conference that happened. And that obviously was kind of big news in the Detroit sports world, because Trajan says, hey, we're not going to be that aggressive, essentially. How did you feel about that? Did you, and I know maybe you might not, I can't remember if you were one of the guys that wanted them to make a big splash. But do you still feel like that they're going to go after guys like Naz Reid or other free agents and trade partners potentially after that press conference? Because I felt like he seemed pretty, like his demeanor seemed pretty calm about it. And the thing that I took away, Corey, was just I don't know what it feels like. He just wants to run it back with the exact same squad. And I personally want more pieces added to this team to try and take another step forward next year. So I'm kind of interested in your thoughts on what you kind of took away from that press conference a couple of days ago.
Well, first off, I think that he has to say that. And I think that was smart of him to say that, because if you go out there and say, hey, we want to be aggressive in free agency, we want to be aggressive on the trade market, you can get taken advantage of. So I think he kind of played his hand smart, because you're not. I mean, I don't know that much about poker, but I know you don't tip your hand. So I think that was I think that was a smart move by him. But when you look at the free agency, I know they're going to bring some pieces in because you have to spend the money or you get penalized. So I want fans to really remember that part. But I believe there are going to be some changes. I don't think they're going to bring this team back as currently constructed. I do believe that there will be some changes on the horizon. What that looks like, I am not sure. When you talk about bringing in a guy like a Naz Reid, or bringing in a guy like, some other guys out there like Bobby Portis, who's potentially available, those are smart moves. I mean, you need that stretch four, so maybe you can work something out. Another guy that he was not a free agent, but he's in a interesting contract situation that I would look at is possibly looking at getting a John Collins on the trade market.
Love that.
I mean, the salaries with him and Tobias kind of match up. You might have to give up maybe something like a Sasser and a Fontecchio on the deal, sending him back to Utah, something like that to make it work. Just spitballing here, but they're gonna make some moves. Just what that looks like remains to be seen.
Yeah, Corey, you're speaking to my soul. Booner and me have been talking about John Collins for a little bit here. He'd be a great, perfect fit, and he's making like $25 million, which for like guys that can get you 20 a game, it's kind of a freaking.
And what is Tobias making? 26. So it's like
exactly
you're able to. You're like I said, you're probably going to have to attach something to that. But I mean, if Utah's not going to give them the money, okay, boom, you could go ahead and match that up, and then they get Tobias's expiring deal, and hey. That's just my opinion on how that could work out.
Yeah, I agree. I do want to ask your thoughts. I think one of the bigger debates in like the Pistons fans, the fan community, is this Ivy stuff. I think that's probably the biggest one, because there's a crowd. I'm in this crowd, by the way, that thinks that Ivy. I still think I think Ivy still has a high ceiling. I think he could still be a very good player. We saw growth last year. And I think there is a other part of the fan base that believes, some friends of mine, very good friends of mine, that believe that Ivy might not be the perfect fit here with Cade Cunningham. And we just haven't seen enough of them playing together. And if you can use him in a trade package to get someone else, you do it in a heartbeat. Now, if we're talking Giannis, Corey, I'm interested. But just on the Jaden Ivey side, you still have some faith here that Cade and Ivy can kind of thrive together on the court, despite them having a ton of time playing together. Because I still believe if they had Ivy and Isaiah Stewart against the Knicks, we'd be having a way different conversation. But maybe I'm crazy, Corey.
Corey, real quick, can I add to that question as well, just so it's all on one? I had asked the question the other day as well with this. Do we believe that Jaden Ivey, from what we know as of now, can be what Jalen Williams was to the Thunder or what Jaylen Brown was to the Celtics? That was how I as well phrased it earlier this week, just saying, hey, can he be that good, like the Jaylen Brown type guy for this Pistons team? I just wanted to throw that out there too, because it kind of goes hand in hand with that same question.
So the thing about Ivy, it's a very complex situation, and I'll just kind of I don't want to be long, but I might be long with it.
No, go ahead.
So his first year, second team all rookie, we saw the potential. I mean, first year, second team all rookie, saw the potential. Second season, a cluster, you know what, and that was no fault of his own. That was just, I don't know what was going on there with him and Monty Williams. This season, we saw flashes of a guy that was determined to show his worth, and unfortunately, it got cut short on at the start of the year. I think fans are in love with the potential of Ivy and what he could be. But, I mean, if we're being real, the Pistons were like, what, if I'm not mistaken, like 15 and 18 when he went down. Yeah. And they took off when he left. Now, I'm not saying that they're better without him, but they took off without him. And that's not a theory. That's a fact. That's what happened. Now, the fact that you have not really seen high returns from Ivy, and if there's a team that wants to take him and you're able to get a all-star, or I'll probably say all-star level. I don't know. Maybe you can get a superstar, but if you're able to get an all-star level of talent, that is something you have to consider, because at the end of the day, Jalen Duren and Jaden Ivey are both up for extensions, and both of them are probably not getting extensions. And with the way that this tax apron is constructed, you're not going to really be able to keep all of these guys together. So you're going to have to make some hard decisions at some point anyway. So if you're right now in an East that is wide open and somebody wants to take Ivy's potential and give you a proven player to put alongside Cade Cunningham in this group, that is something that you just have to consider just off of the fact that it is smart damn business.
Corey, I just want to say this. There's a reason you're one of my favorite people in media in Detroit, is because you tell it how it is, whether people like it, whether people don't like it. You tell it how it is, and I love that. Some people have opinions where they're biased. You're straight up with people, and I love it.
Yeah, I mean, Corey, I'm not going to sit here and say that. And some of the things you did say, or actually everything you said, is fucking true. So I can't really. It's the truth. But it is a fair point. I think the big thing here too, Ed, to take into consideration, you kind of spoke on it with Duren and with Ivy, is not only they're probably not both getting extended, but people have to remember too, Trajan hasn't drafted any of these guys. You know, like he has not drafted any of these.
Not
guys.
attached to any of them.
So there isn't really like that attachment, kind of like Killian Hayes, who I actually have his fucking jersey in the back of my closet. There's an emotional tie to where you're like, hey, well, maybe we can give him a chance, give him another chance. So I think that's very fair. Corey, keep up the great work, my friend. You're crushing it. The guy's covering 2 sports, so he doesn't really have an off season, but you're taking a vacation soon. Are you doing something? I mean, what the hell are you doing, Corey?
I'm chilling. I'm just chilling, brushing up on my writing, brushing up on my deep dive on these Lions players and these Pistons players, because I've been going back and forth between this and school. Now that I'm done my master's program, I'm just doing a deep dive into these players.
Yes. Hey, wait, Corey, can I ask you a Lions question real quick?
Sure.
It's a 2-1. Zadarius Smith and Alex Anzalone. Do you think the Anzo extension comes and the Zadarius Smith contract ends up coming? How do you feel about that?
Ooh, that's a great question. I know Anzo wants his money, so I would be very shocked if he is is a camp holdout. I hate to say what I'm about to say. Okay, I'll just say it. I like Derek Barnes, but I think that the Lions probably should have given Anzalone his money before they went the Derek Barnes route. Because I mean, again, this is no disrespect to Derek Barnes, but I'm like, with the contract they gave him, if he would have got that somewhere else, I'd have been like, hey, more power to you. But with Anzalone, you've seen what he's been to this defense for the past couple of seasons. So the fact that he does not have a deal, I mean, he has a right to feel the way that he does. But they need all of them. So I think Anzo will be back. Zadarius Smith. I know some people are saying, hey, you can probably bring him back after camp. I would not like that. I would like to see if they could get him in, during camp or before it, because you want to have him with that continuity with Aiden Hutchinson in camp, because I don't think it would be fair to a first-time coordinator and Kelvin Shepard to have to plug and play Zadarius and try to figure out that sequence, on the fly. So I think as long as Zadarius hasn't, not really getting no serious calls from anybody else, I think they might work something out with them. But I would be shocked if Anzo doesn't report.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, Corey, because Lukas said verbatim what you just said when Derek got extended, and he got fucking eviscerated on social media.
Derek said something to him about
Barnes
it too.
Responded like, "Oh yeah, it was bad." But no, what you're saying is true. Like, it's a fact. We agree.
And I love Derek. That's what it hurt me to say. I love Derek. Like, he's one of the nicest guys in the locker room. He will speak to you. He doesn't give you any fluff answers. He will talk to you, but it's just that, and I don't even want to say he doesn't deserve his money. Right. I'm just saying, like, they should have figured out a way to get Barnes his bag and get Anzalone his bag too.
Right. Yeah, and that's the thing I do want to make very clear is whenever a dude gets paid, we root for the guy to get paid. It's just analyzing, you know what I mean? Yeah, you got cap space, you know what I mean? So I get it.
If your agent's able to get you that bag, more power to you.
Yeah, no, 100,000% respect to it. Corey, keep crushing. Follow Corey, please. It's right here. If you're listening, at Corey E. Woods, covers the Lions and Pistons for MLive.com. Corey, keep up the great work, getting a master's degree. I mean, you're raising a son, dude. Get out of here, man. Go get
killing it. Appreciate you, Corey.
There you go. Corey Woods joining the program, talking to the fellas here.
One of the best in the business, man. Yeah, tells it how it is.
An absolute Swiss Army knife. Talking both. And I will say this about the Pistons, because he did bring up some interesting things, and he did give me a different perspective about some of the free agents. Because for me, when I look at Tim Hardaway Jr., ironically was at the Rock Classic today, and he's a free agent. So, I think he wants to come back. Just a feeling I get. And then Dennis Schroeder, who I didn't really pay too much attention to, and then Malik Beasley, who I think the Pistons absolutely need to resign. He did kind of spark some thoughts in my head, Boone, about Dennis Schroeder. I think if Dennis Schroeder does not return, they're in the same situation they were in before the deadline last year, unless they for
sure.
Where they don't have a
secondary point guard. Yeah,
which that's a whole nother issue. So to what Corey said, I actually love what he said. Honestly, if Dennis Schroeder is a high priority to resign, I don't think he's going to cost money. I think he's a good vet to have. I mean, there was plays in the playoffs where he was calling huddles, telling people what to do. He's
a very good vet, a very good vet.
So I actually want Dennis Schroeder back even more because of kind of what Corey highlighted. I can't believe that took Corey saying that to make it true. But Malik Beasley should be the priority. But the thing that worries me, though, is there's always teams that are going to overspend. And if I'm Malik Beasley, as much as he loves being here, I think his mother's from here.
Yeah.
Loves playing for the Pistons. Dude, you got to go. I mean, if you're getting paid, if someone offers you a bag, like, I know people can say, well, value your happiness. No, fuck that. I mean, if you offer me a good amount of money to go play a professional
Especially
game.
a guy, Dennis Schroeder, who turned down a bag. He's not doing that again in his career, man. He is not.
No. So, I mean,
I do think, I'll say this: there are some free agent point guards out there that if Schroeder doesn't work out, there's guys out there. People might not like it, but like Malcolm Brogdon is an unrestricted free agent, who's probably a good bench point guard who's been in the league for a while. There's guys out there. I just think, if Schroeder, if you end up not being able to bring Schroeder back, you have to go out and get someone else in that position. You can't. I'm with you, both of you. You can't just sit back and let Schroeder walk and then just not do anything and be like, hey, maybe Jay and Ivy can You know, you could figure out a rotation with. I don't think you can. I think you have to have a vet coming off the bench there, especially running your second team, man. I think that's one of the more underrated, important things in the NBA. Like, look at the Celtics. Who comes off the bench for them? 6 man.
Yeah, exactly.
Peyton Pritchard. He's like an elite backup point guard that comes in off the bench and sparks. So I think that's very important. Look, what about the Thunder? Who comes off the bench for the Thunder? Who's their 6 man?
Caruso. Well, they got Caruso. Yeah, you just need a guy that does dirty work. Schroeder does that. He does a lot of dirty work, man. He's a good player to have, especially kind of come postseason. I will say this about Chaz Lanier too. They took Chaz. I actually found, funny enough, so I do shows for Bleacher Report too, which you guys can check out Tuesdays, Thursdays, 6 p.m. So I do check Bleacher Report, check out kind of what they're writing. They did a breakdown on Chaz Lanier. You know what his pro comp is? Guess.
Dennis Schroeder?
No. Shooter? Malik Beasley.
No way.
Yeah, that's his pro comp.
Imagine having a second Malik Beasley. And the good thing about Chaz Lanier too is that just the fact that like he's not a 19, 20-year-old player. Like
he's experienced.
He's going to be expected to come in and like compete a little bit, I would expect. Not obviously be a massive impact player, but hey, come in and compete, dude. You're 23. Like, you're not a guy that's like, hey, we're going to develop you till you're 26. So
right.
You have
he's not
potentially 2 Malik Beasleys. Woo!
Yeah, that's how I guess I for the people out there, if there's anyone in the chat that maybe was not a fan of the pick, which again, like I still don't. I mean, it's like, dude, you're picking at 37. Like I still don't understand. I get it. You can have your opinion, obviously, but it's like people that were so vocal. I'm like, choose this guy over this guy. It's like, all right, we're not going to know anything for years anyway. But I will say the
second round at the end of the day, man.
I mean, you're basically you're blind picking out of a hat. You know what I mean? You're just like, hopefully these guys work out. I'll say
whoever was in the chat. Go ahead. Sorry.
It was Mr. Ray. Shout out Mr. Ray. He was like, he's basically, whatever. Shout out Mr. Ray though. He knows ball. But I think my thing with Chaz Lanier is if you have all the uncertainty with Tim Hardaway and Malik, that's a big chunk of your 3-point shooting. Like Tim Hardaway's inconsistent. I'll say it. You know, I mean, I'm sure he would agree with that. If he does, I don't know what to tell you. We all watch the Pistons. He's inconsistent, but when he gets hot, he can shoot the ball. Malik is consistent. He can shoot the ball. But those guys are both free agents. They don't have a lot of shooters at their disposal if those guys both depart or if one departs. So the fact that they did go with Chaz Lanier, how good of a player is he going to be? I don't know. But if he could shoot the ball, like this team needs – I mean, you guys see it. I mean, look at not even just the finals, but the conference finals and just the playoffs in general. These teams all have guys that can shoot the ball, man. You know what I mean? They can shoot. And they're skilled, and they could do a bunch of different things. So
that's why I think
I
just think in free agency in general. I know you made the pick, and you got a card. I just think you go out there and still try and add. I think there's players out there. And it's Luke Kennard coming off the bench. They can shoot. I'm looking here, man. There are players who can shoot. Malik Beasley, obviously. I could go down the list here, man. Spencer Dinwiddie, he's kind of old now. He's getting older, but there are just dudes that just go out and get someone, man. Go out and get a couple of shooters that can stretch the floor more. Because last year you're right. Like Tim Hardaway is very streaky. Malik was consistent, but in the playoffs, obviously you didn't get what you were expecting. So you just need more guys to where, hey, if Malik isn't on or if someone's not on, hey, you have someone that can step up. At that point, it was like, last year, you just had what you had, and you didn't have like, hey, if someone's off. Like the thing with the Celtics when they're so good. You remember when we went to that Celtics game, Jeff? Like we all thought, hey, these players are going to go. And it's like Derek White's going off. You're like, I didn't expect that. And then when Derek White's not playing well, Peyton Pritchard's going off. And when Peyton Pritchard's not playing, Sam Hauser, like they're just they have backup after backup after backup to where if a guy's not shooting well on a night, someone's going to be shooting well. Al Horford will be. Someone will be. And that's the thing I think this Pistons team needs to take that next step is you need to add some bigs that can as well stretch the floor a little bit and knock down shots. And you need to add some more shooters in your wings. You just need to add a couple more shooters. You can't just have one guy who can really knock down shots. You need a handful in the league in today's world.
Yeah, it's a necessity, man. You need guys. You need spacing in the league. It's more important than really ever. That's why you're drafting bigs that can shoot. That's part of it. It's like everyone on the floor needs to be able to shoot the ball to some capacity.
Especially when you have a Cade Cunningham, the defense is going to be dialed in on Cade Cunningham. You need to have other shooters besides Malik Beasley. You really
so I do expect Trajan to spend money. I mean, I don't want to act like people are like the same team. They have to spend money. They have cap space available. They got to spend it.
That's why it does worry me when he says, "Hey, we're fine with running it back." That does. It should. I feel like it should worry Pistons fans more than it is. And I know Corey had made a good point. Yeah, you don't want to tip your hand, and especially you know that in poker, like you don't want to show your hand to everyone. So I get that. But if he's serious about this and you go through this offseason and he really does just say, let's re-sign what we have and just run it back and develop, like to me, that's just that is a problem at the end of the day. Whether they still win next year or not, you're not going to go win a championship if you just keep running it back and developing. Like Asar, yeah, he can develop a shot a little bit. He's not going to turn into a knockdown shooter,
Right.
So
yeah, not this year. I mean, I would be surprised. He comes out as a knockdown shooter. It'd be awesome.
That'd be unreal.
I doubt it. Ben Blue says if the second round is the 6th, the 7th round of the NBA is the first round 1 through 5. That's a good comp. Yeah, I mean, second rounders are basically your Antoine Greens. Your guys. You might find a Malcolm Rodriguez. You might find a James Houston. You might find. Maybe this year will be Ahmed Hassanin, but sometimes it's not like that. You're going to have Jamar Jeffersons. Just kind of how it goes there. Before we move on, I do want to share a message from a sponsor of the show and someone that has been doing. I know we got to pay bills, so let's do that. All right. Let me tell you about our friends from Comer and Cross. All right. Shout out to Comer and Cross, by the way. They do amazing, amazing, amazing work. One-day installation, concrete floor coatings, garages, basements, patios. They do it all. All you got to do, call the number 248-834-3488. 248-834-3488. I know you guys, homeowners, you're staring at your cracked, stained garage floor. Or even worse, peeling epoxy, chipped paint, making your whole garage look neglected. Well, right now, Comer and Cross, they have a summer installation sale. They're offering 12 months, same as cash, or $500 in savings. Guys, trust us. We don't work with companies that are shady. This is a legit, very trustworthy company. I know a lot of people over there. They do amazing work. They move the stuff out for you, and they transform patios, pool decks, basements, even driveways. So give them a call, 248-834-3488, or you can book your free estimate at comercross.com. And tell them your friends over at Crunch Time sent you. That'll help it out a little bit. All right. Let's get back to the show here while we wait for Boone to come back. I think he's coming back right now, actually. Okay, here he goes. Fast recovery.
Hey, that's on me. Listen, when you're out in the golf course for the last 3 days,
you need some aloe.
6 hours, and you know how much fluids I drank today to make sure. Dude, I probably had 7 water bottles. I had a Powerade. On my way home, I was so tired because I was up at 5:36 this morning and in the sun all day. I stopped and got a coffee, a cold brew. So many fluids. And you know what? I had all those fluids. I just realized 5 minutes ago, I forgot to eat dinner tonight. I haven't eaten anything since 12. It just didn't cross through my head once. Like, hey, you need to eat.
Well, you do need to eat.
Completely forgot about dinner. Yeah, a lot of fluids though for the boy.
Man, get this man some food. All right, let's get to this PFF defensive line ranking. All right, or actually, no, we'll wait on that. Let's get to this Anzalone stuff. It's more.
Yeah, I thank you for that, man. Yeah, we need to hear about this.
Let's get to this Anzalone stuff because this happened today, and Anzalone had a very. He's been on this. He's been doing this. All right, there's already been a situation already where he was kind of sending out cryptic tweets, and he sent one out today. So let me put this on screen so you guys can see it. So Anzalone quote tweeted a PFF graphic essentially that was pumping up the Lions linebacker room. So they did like linebacker unit rankings. Eagles 1, 2 Lions, 3 Patriots. So they have the Lions at 2. And Anzalone tweeted it with he dropped one of those. Like, oh, interesting. All right. Yeah. It's almost
what emoji is that called? A thinking emoji for the audio listeners.
He's like, that's exactly. For the listeners, it's the thinking emoji. Like, oh yeah, I wonder why we're number 2, dude. It's because you got Alex Anzalone in it. So I'll speak for you, Anzo. I got you. But this is all coming, the contract extension that people are kind of in the dark about, I guess. There hasn't really been any reporting whether it's making progress or not.
Yeah.
I'll say this, Boone. It's hard to imagine that this doesn't get done. I've already said my piece, and we've argued about the Anzo versus Za'Darius thing. But let's just cut the shit. All right, let's just talk about Anzo for a second. All right, we're not having a would you rather moment. This is just a factual conversation. He's under contract for this year, but I find it hard to believe that Anzo will just suck it up and be like, yeah, I'll just play it with little guaranteed money, and I'm 30 plus years old. Like, I think Anzo's like, hey, man, I want that contract extension. Based on what the Lions have done in the past, they typically honor their players. So I'm leaning on the side of this will get done. But the fact that Anzo keeps popping, like, this is a little things I noticed, and tell me if I'm crazy on this. If the contract was close to getting done,
okay,
he wouldn't be tweeting this out.
Jeff, that was the only thought. No, listen, I think that was all I was gonna say. And there was people in our comments today, people in every comment that I could read today that are like, he's putting the thinking emoji because he thinks they should be number one on linebacker. No. Come on now. Alex Anzalone. And listen, I've been saying this for months now, and there have been people in the chat pushed back at me and said, Booner, that's not what happened. There are conversations with players and agents to where agents give the players, I'm sure, and maybe it's in a different sense, but let's just an example, give the player a go ahead. Hey, throw this out there, put this tweet out there to push a narrative, right?
Right.
Anzo has been doing that for the last 6 months. He went back and got tweets from October, whatever it was. All these tweets that he's been quote tweeting things. These are tweets about his contract. A player just doesn't just randomly go out and do that. It is Anzo either going out of his way on his own, trying to prove a point, or him and his agent being like, you know what? Let's make this a public matter and let's throw some jabs out there. He would not tweet this today. And Jeff, that was the first thing I thought about today. Alex Anzalone would not tweet that emoji out today if contract conversations were going very, very well. And there are conversations. This is like one of those things with the Trey Hendrickson conversation to where it feels like there might not be something, they're not talking. Or I'm not talking at all, but like conversations aren't close with what they want. Because if they were close, it's like with Trey Hendrickson. Trey Hendrickson wouldn't be in the media talking about it. Anzo wouldn't still be putting these tweets out. And that, Jeff, that's what worries me about this whole thing, because I've made it very clear. One way or another, you need to find a way to get this Alex Anzalone deal done. If Alex Anzalone is not signed or to an extension by the time training camp comes around, that's a problem to me. And the fact that you're probably a month away or maybe even less than training camp, and your linebacker. And listen, I'm a Jack Campbell guy. I think Jack Campbell's a top 5 to 10 linebacker in the NFL. Very vocal on that. Alex Anzalone is a really big piece of this defense. And there's a reason that they're number 2 ranked on PFF. And it's because you have Jack and Anzo. It's not just Jack. It's also Alex Anzalone and Derek Barnes. You need to get Alex Anzalone signed, man. I think this should be priority number 1, honestly, at this point. You cannot move on without having Anzo on this team to win a Super Bowl. You can't. And I can't believe that this is getting to the point to where we're in June 27th and Anzo still has to keep tweeting stuff out, because obviously him and the team aren't close to something. Like, he wouldn't tweet it out if they were close to a deal. I don't see why he would.
I'll say it. I think if we want to bring up something that is true, that I don't think is a bad thing to say. I think it's just a fact. I think Brad fumbled finding a replacement. Not for Anzalone, but for Jack Campbell, because Jack Campbell's Anzalone's replacement. They don't have any leverage. What did
I tell you guys a couple weeks ago when we were talking about this? I said, if there were people in the chat that were saying, let Anzo walk, whatever. And my one question at the beginning of this whole thing, this offseason, what was it, Jeff? All right, let Anzo walk. Who's next man up?
They don't have it. They don't.
I've been saying that from the jump, man. They don't. And then you could say Derek Barnes. Who's the next Sam up? You're right back to where you were last year at the Sam spot, right?
They don't have it, man. They don't. And I'm not saying that to say like, oh, Brad can't draft good players, or like he's drafted good players, but it's just a fact. Like, you don't have Malcolm Rodriguez. Love Malcolm. I think he's a solid linebacker. I think he could contribute to pretty much a lot of teams in the NFL. But is he a replacement? You know what I mean? I don't think so. And he's hurt, so he's not coming back till October or November. Derek Barnes, well, he just got kind of introduced to the Sam spot, and he's going to hold that down. What happens with this Will spot? You know what I mean? Okay, like you want to move Jack to that Mike spot. What happens at the Will linebacker spot? What's going on? You got Trevor Nowatzki playing Sam, and then you move Derek back to. I guess you could make some adjustments. I'm sure with Kelvin being the DC, it would make it a little smoother. But if we're talking about the future at Sam as Derek Barnes, man, like you don't have a lot of leverage with this Anzalone shit. You just don't. It's tough. Anzo's in a good position. He knows his value. He's coming off. Last year he was injured, but when the games he did play, you saw the impact. And the year prior to that, he had a great year with the Lions. So yeah, he has a lot of leverage, man. I hope it gets done, Boone. It's hard to imagine that it doesn't get done. But if we're just talking about like in reality, based on these tweets, I don't see a signs pointing to it's close. I don't know.
Can we pull up Anzo's tweets just so people get an idea of like?
Yeah. Do you have more of?
Well, I mean, I'll just pull up his. Oh,
he tweeted more. Like
I'm saying just over the last couple months, we could just pull it up. Let's just pull up what Anzo's been.
Nas Reed staying in Minnesota.
That's tough. This was, and you know this, Jeff. This was the fear. This was the fear. Running this thing back and not adding any talent, more talent.
He got 25 a year.
We would have all done that.
I would have stayed in Minnesota. I would have
declined a $15 million a player option for next season and chose to stay with Minnesota. Good for him.
I would have played in. I mean, shit, $25 million, man. I would have played in North Korea. I would have played anywhere.
I think that's a right price for Nas Reed, man.
That's it. Yeah,
that's what he's worth. He's a good player.
Yeah, that sucks. 25 mil. But
let's just pull this up. Let's just go over this. So there's obviously this tweet, right? I'll just keep going. This is just a workout video, okay?
But that's intentional. Let's be
intentional. Real. Oh, you want to be a boss? Intentional. Who did that? Shout out Easy made that.
Respect.
And you know what? Actually, I won't do that. Never mind.
Respect is due. They're almost like lined up.
Respect is due is a big one. That's a big one. All right. Oh, shout out Crunch Time. Alex Anzalone. This was nothing. He just shout out.
But again, showing highlights. Come on now. Stop playing.
Let's keep going. Oh.
Sharing another one.
Also, to put that last tweet into context, what's the last tweet? No other linebacker has to do what I do. Do you think he's just saying that just to be like, hey, by the way, no, there's a reason. He knows he's going through contract conversations. Right. He knows it. Let's keep going because there's some interesting ones in here. Linebacker market. What's happening? What's going on here? Let's just keep going. Hold on, because there's a couple interesting ones here. And I wonder if he deleted some. Because remember, he did comment on it. He did comment on a couple extensions, and guess what? Isn't there anymore?
The Trey Hendrickson one.
Trey Hendrickson one's gone.
Look at the cap. Wait. Did he just comment on the cap going up?
Fire emoji. He wants money. He wants. Yeah, wait a second. I could be wrong. I could be wrong, Jeff. And I might be wrong. There were some quote tweets in there. There were some quote tweets in there from tweets from months ago where he went back and they're not there now. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I love Vanzo. Maybe I'm wrong. And you know what? I'll say this. If there are still people who might think, my bad, who might think that, we're making stuff up, I'll tell you what. You want to know what's something crazy, Jeff? Someone that I know goes by the name Booner may have tweeted out, the Detroit Lions need to pay Alex Anzalone. You cannot let your green dot not go into camp not being paid and just act like this is nothing. Oh, it's interesting. Alex Anzalone's he's never liked any of Booner's tweets. But just some reason, the one that talking about Alex Anzalone sitting out about money, Alex Anzalone wanting to get paid, how the Detroit Lions need to get an extension done for their green dot linebacker. It's weird that was the one that got liked by Alex Anzalone, talking about this guy needs to get paid. Just interesting thought, man. I mean, and I know there are other people who have specifically tweeted about the situation. And there was some Alex Anzalone likes through that too. So this thing needs to get handled. You can't sit back and sit on your hands and just watch this go by. I mean, I feel like this is like pretty important, especially losing Ragnar. Like you're about to. It's tough,
man. And I mean, Anzo. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I think anyone can see that Anzo, like, here's the facts. Anzo's frustrated. Anzo wants an extension. Lions are working through it. Anzo wants it done.
Should get done.
That's literally all facts. There's no assuming. These are facts because of what Anzo's been tweeting, what Anzo's been doing, liking the tweets that you put out saying they need to pay him. He likes it. What would that mean? He wants to get fucking paid.
It means there's something going on. This is he's not liking it. He could say
very straightforward, all of it.
Yeah, he doesn't want people to know, especially people who cover the Detroit Lions, myself, some other people that we have spoken with. He obviously wants it out there, or else he wouldn't like those tweets, in my opinion.
Well, sometimes the agent will even they'll talk about stuff. I'm not saying this is the case, but I'm saying this happens though. You know, we've seen this plenty of times. If you watch the NFL, cover the NFL, where agents will use social media for leverage. You know, they'll
all the time. We've heard that from people before.
Yeah, they use it as leverage. You know, social media, they use the public, whatever it is, to sway teams into re-signing guys. That's what Trey Hendrickson just did, talking to the media that one time, and he's like, "I'm not playing unless I'm paid." You know, so yeah, it's a whole thing. I hope it works out. We'll see what happens. Like I said, confidence level, I don't know where it's at right now. It's not as high as it used to be. Hopefully,
do you like that the linebacker crew is ranked number 2?
Yeah, I can see. I mean, I get it with Anzo, Jack. I mean, they have some depth. Like Malcolm could play. I think he could contribute to a lot of teams.
You know what will probably put him 2? Trevor Nowatzki.
Yeah, I mean, you got Trevor Nowatzki. You have backup Sam, very solid SVSU player. All right, let's get to these defensive line rankings. I have them. I do want your thoughts on this. So, topic of the summer, defensive line. It's been the topic. We talk about it probably too much, but we still talk about it. And I posted a video today breaking down the defensive line and just kind of giving my thoughts. Where they're ranked, who's ranked in front of them. So let's go through. How about this? We're going to go through. We don't have to break down every defensive line, but we'll just go through. You tell me who's ranked in front of the Lions. You say yes or no, fair, not fair. And then we get to the Lions and we can kind of see where we want to move them. But we don't have to spend a lot of time on any of the teams in front of them. So PFF ranked defensive lines in the NFL. You know how PFF is. They're going to do it based on their grading scales and, you know, all these metrics, pass rush win rate and all this stuff. Number 1 is the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Fair.
TJ Watt, Cameron Hayward. Fair, not fair? You say fair.
Fair. Added Derek Carmen.
Yeah, I would say fair because I think it's TJ Watt and Cameron Hayward. I mean,
Alex Highsmith.
Alex Highsmith. Yeah, I mean, we haven't even. Yeah. So okay, fair. Number 2, the Eagles.
Fair.
Okay.
That interior, they did lose. They did lose some pieces, but they also they got a Jabo too from the Giants.
I'll say side note. I don't think they should be 2, but I think it's fair.
I think fair above the Lions. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's. Okay.
I've always had this thing with the Eagles, and maybe this is just me. And you kind of know this. I think their interior is the best in the NFL, or arguably the number 1. I think their edges. I'm not saying they're overrated, but I just think their edge crew isn't how they talk about the Philadelphia Eagles edges. I think that interior just covers up everything. Like, I think they're just that good. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And and you have to give them the benefit of the doubt.
For sure.
I think the Giants should be here, to be honest.
Giants have a good room, but the Giants edge did go to the Eagles.
That's true, but the Giants are 3rd. Okay. And I say this is fair. I mean, they have Thibodeau, Carter, Burns, Dexter. Those are 4 starters, high-level starters. Like, I can't even.
Brian Burns.
Kayvon, maybe he's good. I don't know if he's an interesting one, but still, like, he would start on a lot of teams.
I think that's fair. I think that's
okay.
fair.
So we're 3 in so far. Number 4, the Houston Texans. Danielle Hunter, Will Anderson. I say fair with those.
Yeah,
guys.
those two alone. And who's
Interior's
their
not the best, but
I was going
edge-wise,
to ask
they got
who their
some dudes.
interior is. I don't even know if I can name their interior.
No one can, so it's okay. But they have Will Anderson, Danielle Hunter. Okay, I'll give you that. Those are two probably top 10, 15 edge rushers. That's fine. Number 5, the Buffalo Bills. With Bosa, Russo, Ogunjobi, who they just signed, Ed Oliver, Daquan Jones, and then they drafted TJ Sanders, and then they also have AJ Espinoza.
Landon Jackson they drafted out of Arkansas, Deion Walker out of Kentucky as well.
Yeah, so I got to give them this one too. I think this is probably a fair one. I get the edge of the Bills here. They got a lot of depth and talent. And then at number 6, you have the Lions. So they come in at 6th. And I'll say this because I
want to hear what you think first.
Let me just show where so Brown 7. I think that's fine because it's just Myles Garrett. They don't have much besides him, and Mason Graham, who I think could be good, but still, there's a lot of uncertainty there. I don't think that's bad. 8, the Broncos. Okay, they don't have. They schematically they play better than what the talent actually has. They have some guys, but whatever. 9, the Rams. This is where I'm confused. The Rams should be higher. That's where I'm a little. I'm a little confused by this, but I'll say this on the Lions being 6th. I think it's right around where they should be. I think you having Aiden, just like TJ Watt with the Steelers, it's going to put you at a pretty high spot. Okay. I think having Aleem McNeil when he's healthy is going to add some value. DJ Reader going to add some value. They still have a lot of depth, and you were the first one to hammer this point home on Twitter, and you've been saying it all offseason. The depth is really impressive. They have a lot of guys deep that can play. Starters, maybe not high level, but they have guys that can play from they're probably
coming off
6,
the
7
bench.
deep. Yeah, they're pretty deep. The biggest question, obviously, the obvious one is Marcus Davenport. They're probably ranking based on just the player. They're not factoring in health and all that stuff. So Marcus Davenport, when healthy, contributor. I think I would probably move them 7. I would probably put the Rams in front of the Lions. They just have, they have 4 guys that can get 10 sacks. So it's like, I got to give them that edge there. But I don't actually disagree too much with this list. I got roasted. The reason why I got roasted in the comments is someone went at me for glazing the Rams defensive line. But I thought we all saw them face the Eagles and sack Jalen Hurts 9 times against the best O-line. So I just making sure we all watch the same game. So I think the Lions are probably 6 or 7. I'm not putting them any lower. I don't think because we're overacting to Za'Darius that they should be 10 or 11. They're good. I think Za'Darius, though, and this is a point you've also brought up before, Boone, with Za'Darius, they're top 5, top 4, top 5. They're in that top tier, I think, with Za'Darius. But this is a fair ranking. Maybe I'd move them down a spot.
Yeah, honestly, I'm gonna kind of agree in a sense with you. I think the Rams D line is very good. Ben Blue put it in there. They're a young D line, and I think they still have a lot of potential. I think the one reason you can argue Detroit Lions over the Rams is because this Rams D line doesn't have a edge rusher that they don't have a top 5 edge rusher. Jared Verse very good. Would you put him in the top 5 and say, hey, this guy can go out there and get 17 sacks next year?
We don't know yet.
That's where I kind of lean towards the Lions, where it's confidently, Aiden Hutchinson can do that because you saw that sample size last year before he got hurt. And then I kind of look at it like this, Jeff. If all of these D lines were healthy, I think you would put Detroit where they are. I think 5, 6, 7. And I think you can interchange them. Like the Bills, I think the Bills have a great D line. But you could argue you could put Hutch, Aleem, DJ Reader, Tyleek Williams, Marcus Davenport, and that crew up against the Bills D line if they're all healthy, right? Playing at the highest level, you could argue the Detroit Lions D line, and then you add the depth in there. The Bills, they're good. Do they have the depth that the Lions have? Probably not. The rotations, but they're top end, they're top heavy. So that's why I think you can argue Bills, Lions, and Rams. You could throw them in the same category. And I think the reason the Lions are in there is because of Aiden Hutchinson. And if Aleem's healthy and playing at his best, he's a top 15 defensive tackle if he is healthy playing at that top tier. DJ Reader, top 20 defensive tackle in the NFL. One of the best run stopping defensive tackles in the NFL. Tyleek, Aleem McNeil build, right? Marcus Davenport, if healthy, I know that's such a big one, but if he is, you could argue top 30, top 35 edge rusher at, how well he can play, but he's probably not healthy at that point. But yeah, I actually don't hate this. I'm shocked that people I got to go look at the comments after the show. I can't believe people were going at you for saying the Rams one's good. I think they're just young. Maybe I think that's why maybe people aren't giving them the credit.
They're young. I think I'm probably basing it more just on talent, and I think Ben Blue put it in the chat. Shout out to him. The cohesiveness they played, the way they play together, they get after quarterbacks. They might not have an Aiden, but collectively they destroy people. So like you said, I'm not going to say they should be significantly lower. I think I'm not going to be the down, crap on the Lions guy. I think the Lions are probably a top 10 D line. If you want to put them 5, 6, 7, cool. I don't really care. Yeah. I'm not putting them in the top 5 equation probably just until we see what happens with Za'Darius. I think that would give them the edge. But the biggest question mark and the thing that would solidify this ranking to me is what Davenport looks like. If Davenport's healthy, I know we say it, but if he plays to at least a semi-high level DN2, then this D-line's top 6, man. You know what I mean?
That's crazy because we have this conversation now, and a lot of people agree with me, and I think people did when I tweeted it out. But when I put that tweet out there saying, hey, this is one of the more underrated defensive lines in the NFL, the reason I say that is because here in Detroit, not having, and I actually put it in the tweet, I think it overlooks, like, us not having that edge number 2 confidently next to Hutch. I think people just let that overcloud what this D line is as a whole, and they let it. And you saw the examples. Shout out Adam, but he tweets at me and tries to dunk on me, and acting like I'm crazy for saying they have an underrated D line room. But it's like, no, that's kind of a fact. Like, this ranking has them at 6. We're having this conversation like, hey, we don't mind putting them from 5 to 7, maybe 8. You know what I mean? Like, they're top 10 D line in the NFL because they have Hutch, because they have Aleem, DJ Reader, Tyleek, and potentially a healthy Marcus Davenport and the depth that they have. So the people who like kind of came at me for that, it's like, hey, again, you're proving my point exactly. You're allowing that opposite edge of Hutch overshadow what this D-line room is as a whole. Because it's actually like, it's a solid D-line room. Now, if you add Za'Darius to this, what did I say? It's top 3 D-line room. You add Za'Darius to this room, I'm taking that D-line room over the Giants, personally, if it was Za'Darius. You might not. I am. I'm taking them over the Bills.
I will say, just to announce this, the Red Wings took Carter Bear, left winger out of Canada.
Okay.
6 foot. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to make of the pick. He's 18 years old. So any Red Wings fans listening, there you go. Carter Bear. There's a
I should put that on socials.
Yeah, Carter Bear. I don't know too much about him, to be honest with you. 18 years old, Canadian. He's born in 2006. That's crazy. Oh, wow. Shit, as the years go by, it just gets even crazier. Shout out True Teller, man. What's going on, True Teller? Yeah, they are. They're hyping up the Lions D-line. That's what we're talking about. Ben Blue, are we factoring in rookie Tyleek, aging Reader, and Noah Liam for 2/3 of the season, though? No, they're not. It's on paper. They're not factoring in Marcus Davenport's injury history. Like, they're not doing it based on that. They're doing it just face value. I think that's one of the bigger question marks probably for the Lions is how does Aleem look and Aiden look coming off injuries? Now, I'm not saying I have worries or doubts, but that's just a fact, Like, Aiden coming off that injury, what does he look like? If Aiden looks like old Aiden, then you're good. What does Aleem look like after an ACL injury? Does he look like old Aleem? Then you're good. Then we don't have a conversation. But if there are struggles, then it's going to hurt. And Davenport gets hurt right on the perfect timing, then it's going to suck. But yeah, I don't disagree with it. I think they're top 10, to be honest with you. So I think they can get better. I think you can get more security at the DN2 spot, which I've been saying, but I'm not going to sit here crap on their D-line, man. They got some guys. I think Tyleek's going to be really good.
I think healthy, man, it's still a good D-line at the end of the day. Whether you want to believe it or not, I think that's just in my opinion, that's kind of a fact. It's just they do have dudes, and Hutch. Whether you want to just be like, well, it's just hot. Like, come on now. At that point, if you say they don't have a good D-line, you're discrediting what that interior is, because that's a scary. That's one of the best interiors when healthy. Adding Tyleek to it's one of the best interiors in the NFL.
I want to say before we get to this, I want to just tell the people before we read the comments, the topic we're going to get into. And I want you guys to participate with this because I think the chat can come up with some great ones. I want your Detroit Lions 2025 season hot takes. Okay. Give me overreaction, hot takes. something that you think could happen. You're not fully confident in, but you're like, hey, this would be crazy if it did happen. Give me like a take that you've been maybe sitting on, because you posted on your Twitter, drop your Detroit Lions hot takes for the season. And there's a couple comments. I want to get to them and show them off. And if you have one, I have one. I didn't want to force a hot take. I got a take that I think it definitely could be in play. But it is a hot take. So I can share that at some point. But let's get to your Twitter post, and then we can read some of these, because I did actually, some of them were kind of interesting. So
I actually have not read any of the comments yet. I was waiting for the show, so I'm interested to hear. Here we go.
You put drop your hottest Detroit Lions take for the 2025 season. All right. First comment comes from Kevin Kane. Isaac Tesla takes this veteran's job, meaning Tim Patrick.
Huh? Say that again.
Isaac Tesla takes Tim Patrick's job.
I don't know if this is a hot take. I think that's a fair take.
I'll say this. All right.
Are you typing your hot take in right now?
I don't think that's a crazy hot take.
No, I don't either.
Tesla was drafted in the third round. But if we're being honest, I don't think he does Timmy P like that right away. I don't think he does Timmy. I think Timmy P's got to have some respect at that third spot. I just don't see it. Not right away.
Season?
Yeah, I mean, maybe at the end there's more of a conversation, but I don't see Tim Patrick being just destroyed.
Okay.
Like it's just like easily beat out. I don't.
Can I put a scenario out there?
Especially with a new offensive coordinator, you want a wide receiver 3 that's like.
Can I put a scenario out there?
Got rapport with Goff. Go on.
With all due respect.
Yeah.
How old is Tim Patrick?
Like 28.
What has Tim Patrick in his career dealt with a lot?
Knee injuries.
Do you think there's a high % chance at some point this season Tim Patrick will be out with an injury?
I think there's a probability that there's a lot of guys that could probably be out with an injury.
I think when that happens, if Tim that Patrick happens, and listen, I love Tim Patrick. I don't want him to get hurt. You have to look at scenarios, especially I'm sure when Brad's building a roster, he looks at scenarios that could potentially happen. All of these people know that. It's the same thing with Ahmed Hassanin that I said. If he gets an opportunity, I don't see him throwing that away. I think it's the same thing with Isaac Tesla. I think at some point, it's inevitable. At some point this season, he's going to have an opportunity to make some plays. It will happen. I think Isaac ends up taking advantage of it. I really do. I do. And then I think what happens is it turns into a split kind of situation where they're just splitting snaps. And then eventually the young guy is going to take over at the end of the season. And Tim's on a 1-year deal. And when that 1-year deal's up, we're not going to, I think people feel like it's like, oh, like, I love Klotz, but I feel like it's 100% Tim Patrick the whole time. Okay. Like, are we going to act like Isaac's just not going to get any snaps this year? No, he will. And he's going to show something and people are going to start turning their heads a little bit. He's going to get snaps. I don't know why when we have this conversation about Tim and Isaac that the assumption is just like, oh, Tim's going to get every snap. No, Isaac's going to be out there, man. He's going to get opportunities. Tim could be as good as he wants. If Isaac's better, something happens there.
How about this? Yeah, since we're asking questions, let me ask you a question. What do we know about Jared Goff when it comes to receivers he's throwing to?
He throws the guys he trusts. Has which he's been with Tim for a year. Fair enough.
So I think that would be my only thing is I wonder.
But he threw to Tim last year.
Unless Tesla just brings the juice, and
I think he will, man. I'm convinced.
Yeah, even Alvarado took like 9 games. I mean, it wasn't. It was just.
That's why I think it's. I'm not saying right away, but I think at some point in
and they didn't have anyone at wide receiver when he was there too. When Alvarado was there, they had nobody.
Yeah, they did.
Tyrell Williams, who was
Quintez Cephas. I'm kidding. I don't know if he was there.
Cephas. Yeah,
he popped in my head because I think he just got cut from a team actually like a day ago.
I think by the end of the season, you'll probably have more of a conversation. But yeah, I think it's going to be hard to just beat him out. I even think come playoff time, like you want a guy that has that experience. You know, I don't know.
Yeah. I'm with you on that. I just think there's going to be a point.
Yeah.
I don't think people realize though, like Tim's on a 1-year deal. This Isaac pick showed that they're not going to most likely the odds go towards them not re-signing Tim Patrick. So you think they're just going to let Isaac sit for a whole year and not get any reps and then just be like, oh, he's taking over. Like, no, there's going to be some sort of transition at some point. And Isaac's going to get a lot of the reps as well.
So the next one comes from Justin. Laporta will lead the Lions in receiving touchdowns. Wow.
I don't know, man.
Oh,
I don't know.
I mean, it is a hot take. That's a hot take. That's more of a one than probably Tesla taking over for Timmy P. I will say this. He did have double-digit TDs as a.
He did. He's a red zone threat for Jared Goff. Red zone threat.
So I don't think. I think if you had to come up with a hot take, I think Justin might not be too crazy. Do I agree with it? I don't. But do I think it's a crazy thing to say? I don't. Because if you think about it, all of the guys they kind of spread the ball around evenly. That it really just depends on whose day it is, and I can see maybe more. He just causes mismatch. I know. Yeah, I agree with Shift Guy. By the way, Klotz would love this.
He would love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, if Klotz came at it if Klotz came with this take instead of Laporta's going to have more receiving yards than Jambo, like Laporta's going to have more touchdowns than Jambo, I could have rolled it. I could have rolled with that one. I could have set my sword down. I really could have.
Yeah, I don't think that's too crazy either.
I think he's a touchdown. I'm not saying a merchant, but he's a touchdown in the red zone. That he is a big target for. You said it. JG likes to trust certain guys. He trusts Laporta in the red zone.
Let me see. I got some takes from the people here I want to get to. Bottom line, Brand Banch will be a Defensive Player of the Year finalist.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it, man.
Hot take. I mean,
yeah, but I don't hate that.
I think it's always gonna be pass rushers, man, unless something historic happens. Like you have to be historic. Like for Brian to be a Defensive Player of the Year finalist, he would have to have like 4 or 5 sacks, 5 picks, or 4 picks, and like it would have. Do you put
that past him though? Like I think there's a chance Brian Branch goes out there, leads, they get 6 picks this year, has 4 forced fumbles, has 4 sacks, and it's just I don't put it past him. I really don't. 80-something tackles.
He would have to be like, I mean, shit. He'd have to go crazy. But yeah, that is a hot take. True Teller says Detroit regresses for a season and barely makes the playoffs.
Come on now, True Teller. I mean, come on now.
You didn't like that one, buddy.
No, I don't.
Yeah, that. Oh.
If we're talking about regresses like 15 to 12, okay, we could do that.
Yeah, that's.
We're talking about regressing like 15 to 9.
It's a hot take. Barely makes the playoffs, man.
Barely makes the playoffs is like 9 wins. That's a big regression, man. That's. Yeah. I mean, that would be heartbreaking. I mean, at least they make the playoffs. Truth tell, I appreciate that. At least you let them sneak in.
Oh, look at Ben Blue. Hot take. Hassanin gets 6.5 sacks and takes the DN2 spot sooner rather than later.
Say it again.
Talk to me. Hassanin gets 6.5 sacks, takes the DN2 spot sooner rather than later.
Me and Ben Blue. Appreciate you.
Pretty good year. I mean,
doing business.
Yeah, I like. Now we're talking. I mean, if he gets 6.5 sacks, I'm not saying he can't do it, but if he does, you gotta be ecstatic that you found that guy in the 6th round.
Yeah, that's a steal. That's
like defensive rookie of the year. Like you can win defensive rookie of the year doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, Aiden was a finalist and had 9.5, so he'd at least be he'd be in that conversation at least.
There's no question. If he gets 6.5 and he's a hit, might be one of the best D lines in the NFL. Just gonna throw that out there.
Let's see. Oh, he's got another one. Miles Frazier becomes a starting right guard at some point this season.
I don't hate that one, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't
see what happens with Graham.
Does that count as a hot take? Because that's just really just Graham doing what he did last year. So it's just like Graham running back 2024.
I mean, to start 2 rookies, it's semi-hot. It's a semi-hot take,
but they're good. They're potentially really good.
Okay. Xavier says Jeff finally reveals his child on crunch time. You guys
don't talk about him. Come on, Jeff.
No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. No kids out there. No kids out there.
Let's not talk about Jeff Jr., JJ. We don't need to do that.
No, we don't.
Leave JJ out of this.
We don't need to do that. Generic hot take. Rake takes TA's job this year.
Wow. I have a feeling about the secondary that there's going to end up being mixing and matching. And I think I do. There's something about Ennis Rakestraw to me, Jeff, to where if he's healthy, and I think TA is very good too. So I don't know what they're going to do. You have TA, Ennis, DJ, Amik. There's only a certain amount of jobs, man.
Yeah, that would be. You'd be disappointed, extremely disappointed. But then you'd be like, "Who is this Rakestraw? Like, is he the?" It's like now all the attention's on him. It's like maybe you got the better corner in the second round. I mean, it'd be disappointing your first round pick gets benched. I
don't think TA would be the one to get benched though. If I'm being honest, I think TA has a good year. All the signs point towards it.
I guess that's the hot take.
Who's the odd man out? If say TA ends up taking a big step and say Ennis takes a big step, who's the odd man out in that secondary? If you're Kelvin Shepherd,
I don't see DJ Reed taking a step back.
So what do you do?
And none of them could play nickel.
No, what did Dan say? Or what did?
But he's better outside. I get it though.
But best guys on the field, man. That's what I'm saying. Who's the odd man out? You have 4 dudes. What do you do?
Well, that ties into the next one. J Hart, hot take Lions will have the best or at least a top 5 secondary this season.
If those corners work out with those safeties, I'm right there with J Hart.
Damn.
If Terrion works out, if Terrion becomes a CB1, you're the best safety duo.
Yeah. I mean, if for this to happen, you need TA to be. I mean, he'd have to be he'd take that step into being like a good corner. Like he's like pretty consistently good. Yeah. And then you have DJ Reed and him. Then you have Brian Branch and Kirby. Like then you're like, wow, this is a good secondary. Amik's going to be Amik. So I think a lot of what J Hart's saying, it's a hot take, but I think it depends on what Taron Arnold looks like, honestly. I think he's kind of the big one there. Edward says, my hot take, number 1 defense with number 1 in turnovers.
You know what's crazy about all these hot takes, Jeff?
Don't say
all defensive hot takes.
Oh, I thought you were going to say like they could happen.
all defensive hot takes.
Yeah,
I'm starting to notice a trend this offseason with Lions fans and this team is I think Lions fans feel like this defense is going to take a big step and potentially pass up this Lions offense, which is crazy to even think. I don't think it happens, but that's like the vibe that I get from Lions fans over the last month or so. I don't know if you get the same vibe, but I've been seeing it a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, the defense is a lot of hope. If you have the number 1 defense with number 1 in turnovers, like that's a Super Bowl defense, man. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That's a Super Bowl.
You're the best team in football.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Shift God hot take. Jack Campbell will take that huge next step next year.
Not a hot take, Shift God. That's the right
how
take.
Big of a step we talking? We talking like
top 5 linebacker. I've said it. He's a Pro Bowler.
Yeah, hot take would be like best linebacker in football or something, I guess. But yeah, Shift God, I mean, that's gonna happen.
All-Pro linebacker next year.
That guy up north says Laporta has another underwhelming year production-wise, under 40 catches, under 5 TDs. There's your offensive one.
That's a tough offensive one.
It's a tough one, and I think what that guy up north is saying, and correct me if I'm wrong, J-Mo,
yep,
stock up. Amon-Ra, stock up. And then there's just someone that he thinks these two guys are going to play at such a high level that Laporta maybe gets forgotten about a little bit. Unless he just thinks Laporta, I don't think he's saying he just stinks. I think there's a reason behind it.
But he met the Pope.
But he met the Pope. So that guy up north, they're going against the Pope. That's basically, he got blessed by the Pope. So we'll see what happens with that. Alan says, would a good one be for Goff to throw less than 10 interceptions?
I like that.
I don't know if it's a hot.
He only had 12 last year, and he had a game with 5. So
I would say like if you said he's going to throw 5 interceptions or something, that'd be a hot take.
Yeah,
only throw 5 picks. Under 10 could happen. Yeah, I don't think.
Can I throw this up there too, real quick, because the doc said the same thing and wrote the article about it. 5,000 yards is a lot. Like when the doc said that,
how much?
I hope the doc's watched right now, because the doc said I'm starting to get into some opinionated pieces, and he said 5K. The last player to do that was Patrick Mahomes in 2022, who won MVP. That's the last player to ever do it.
We're talking. Let me just get this very clear, guys.
Okay? It's so rare. I feel like
about 17 games, 5,000 yards. I mean, you're talking. He basically would have to throw 300 yards a game. 300 yards a game. Like, now I'm not talking about 270, 250. I'm talking about 300 yards a game. Do I think that's smart to do with this offensive line, looking the way it is? I don't. Do I think it's smart to do with having 2 running backs as good as Jahmyr Gibbs and Dave Montgomery? I don't. So I think as much as they value the run, that's where their offense is going to start. I just don't think they're going to have Goff zip it all around with a rookie guard and another guard who's played in 1 game, in Graham, who has question marks. I think they're going to prioritize getting Goff in some favorable positions. So I think he throws for 4,500. Yeah, but it's like, I don't know. The difference between 4,500 through a season and 5,000, I know it's 500 yards, but guys, that's like, it's 500 yards. You have to throw 300 a game. 300 a game. Man.
No, it's especially the thing about it too, and I don't think people realize it. Like, I think Jared Goff has 4,500. I've told you this. Jared Goff runs back the last 2 seasons, 4,500, 30 plus touchdowns, and I think he goes 10 or less interceptions. I've been very vocal on that. I think he has a year where you can look at it as MVP again. But the 5,000 yards, the thing that takes away from that and makes it impossible is the running backs that you have. You run the ball a lot. You have Jahmyr Gibbs, who you're going to give the rock to. You have David Montgomery, who needs to get carries. I just don't think that you throw the ball enough to be able to do that.
No, if he's making the comment now, I get all that, or the argument now, I get all that, and you're not wrong at all, Jeff. Based on the schedule, much higher scoring games are in the mix. Like, yeah, I mean,
that's actually a great point by Arturo.
Yeah, I mean, if you're playing tough teams and you're in more shootouts, it's like things have to. It just depends. I mean, the defense I think will be better, so that I don't think teams are going to score as quickly on your defense. So there's a lot of things I think factor into it. They're running the ball. Like, I guess to Artur's point, I always butcher his name. If you're in close games, it's not like the Lions are blowing teams out and they're just running the ball and burning the clock. You know what I'm saying? So I get that. If they're in close games where Goff has to throw it, I mean, they'll be playing better opponents though. So I don't think he's got to throw 300. It's just a lot. I don't think he throws 5,000 this year. I don't. So that is a hot take though, by the way. If you want to have that as your hot take, you know what my hot take is? And again, it's a hot take, but I looked at it today, and I think it could be in play. The Lions could go 500 on the road.
I don't know, dude. Come on.
You want to look at this schedule?
I get the schedule, but the one thing that interesting to me was the Lions didn't lose once on the road last year. And you could say who they played or not. You're playing in the NFL. They're prepared on the road, dude. Dan has them ready to roll. Like there's something with it where this guy like goes in the locker room and they want to spoil parties, and the fans travel. That's the difference. 500, okay. I don't hate it. I think it's over 500. I do. I think it's over 500. They played better on the road last year than they did at home, and they lost in the playoffs at home.
Let me show you this. All right, this is what makes it very tough. All right. And I should have said it. The Lions will be lucky to go above 500 because look at this. Let me show you this. All right. So, and we're not even factoring in, by the way, where they're playing, like conditions, all that stuff. Away, they have the Bears. They have the divisional opponents, Bears, Packers, Vikings, which like those will always be tough games. Divisional, it's good. It's great division, all that. Bengals, Chiefs, Commanders, Eagles, Rams, Ravens. I'll say it again. Bengals, Chiefs, Commanders, Eagles, Ravens, Rams.
Well, I'm just going to tell you this real quick. You said they're going to be 500 on the road. It's impossible. They have to either be over or under. They play 9 games on the road.
That's why I changed it. They'll be lucky to be above 500. That's
okay. Now, this is okay. Okay. This is my argument that I've had with you and Klotz about the schedule, to where when we break down the schedule, and this is what frustrated me so much about breaking the schedule down with you guys. You guys have them losing every game to every elite opponent. Everyone. Every single basically team that could potentially win a Super Bowl, you guys had them losing to. My point to you guys is they're going to win some of those games.
No, I think they will. Yeah.
So that was why I got so frustrated when we went game for game and every single potential good team that popped up, Klotz was like, loss. And it's like, okay, let's be realistic. They will win one of these games versus the Chiefs, Commanders, Eagles, Rams, or Ravens on the road. They will. Let's just do this. Let's say they go 3-1 in the division on the road, or 2-1, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't think they can go 3-3 in those other games on the road?
I think they can. It's going to be very difficult. Just
100%. 100%.
That's why I don't think it's a hot take, by the way. I'm saying it's a hot take.
Okay, that's fair. But do you see
my point? It's not crazy. I don't think it's a bad.
Do you see where I'm coming from when we do the schedule stuff? And if someone's going to tell me you have those 6 games, the Bengals, Chiefs, Commanders, Eagles, Rams, and Ravens, right? You have those 6 games on the road, correct, Jeff? And you want to sit here and convince me that this Detroit Lions team is a contending team or is going to be a playoff team, and they can't win any. I think they go 3-3 in those games at the end of the day, and I think they go 2-1 in the division. They drop a divisional game on the road, so you're sitting there, in my opinion, 5-4 on the road.
I have them at 12-5.
I hate that.
So I have them beating. I have them splitting with the Bears. So that's one of the losses. I have them beating the Packers and Vikings. I have them beating the Bengals in a shootout. I have them beating one more team. I can't remember who it was, but then they lose to the others. I think that puts them at, what was that, 1, 2, 3. What is that? Is that 4? I guess that'd be 5-4. I think I have them at on the road.
I think you got to go. You have to go 6-3 on the road.
I have to look back. I don't 4-5 or 5-4, but their home schedule. I mean, look at it: win. All right, so they'll probably go 8-0. I think I might have them at 4-5. I don't know. I have to double check that. Anyway, I have them at 12-5, and a majority of the losses are on the road. That's how I have it. And I guess it isn't as crazy when when you look at the teams. I'm not saying they'll lose to all the contenders, Boone, but I'm saying they'll split those matchups.
I think if you go 3-3 in that, in my opinion, if you go 3-3 in that 6-game stretch of away game, obviously it's not all in the row, but if you go 3-3, dude, I think you're living. It's a tough schedule, man. There's no other team in the NFL that's playing those 6 teams on the road. The fact that you don't get one of those teams at home is it's insane. It actually, I don't know how the whole schedule thing works with that, but the fact that the NFL just did not give one of those teams to the Detroit Lions in Ford Field it's kind of disrespectful, to be honest.
Yeah,
it really is. Not one Super Bowl contending team at home.
And I mentioned briefly, but the outdoor games, which I'm not saying it's not. I'm not even going to go with Jared Goff. I'm saying it's just tough to play in Philly. It's tough to play in Arrowhead. It's tough to play these outdoor games in places where the weather is, quite frankly, shitty. It's always tough. It helps that the Lions have great running backs, but like Chicago, that's a terrible place to play. You know, it's not even about the Bears. Like, take the Bears out of it. It just sucks playing in Chicago. It's cold. You know, luckily they play them earlier in the year, so that's going to benefit them. But still, just these places where a high-powered passing offense, it does get affected. You know. All right, we got about 20 minutes left, and I do want to get your thoughts on this. Okay, fantasypoints.com. They have a ranking when it comes to offensive lines. It was ranked by someone who has a background in scouting, and he ranked offensive lines, and he did it on these categories in the NFL. We're going to see where the Lions are ranked, but they did it on continuity.
Okay,
like guys staying together, depth, any additions they added in obviously the offseason, the veteran/youth balance, like they got some young and up-and-coming guys, and then coaching. So this one factors in coaching as well.
Oh, Hank Fraley. So it was continuity.
Yep, continuity, depth, quality additions in the offseason. Maybe they added someone, so that obviously helps. Veteran youth, so it's not just a bunch of old guys, and then coaching. And then they threw in scheme fit, which, you know, that's whatever. But it factors in everything, you know, pretty much everything, not just the talent on the names. Okay.
Yep.
It's pretty much everything that goes into an offensive line. And number one, they have the Philadelphia Eagles.
Fair.
Which continuity, they have pretty much every argument. So I'm not going to be mad at that.
Coaching,
number two,
depth, everything.
They have the Broncos. Okay. I'm not going to be too mad at that. I think the Broncos are up there. So I don't think that's bad. Number three, the Tampa Bay Bucks. I don't think this is too far off either, to be honest with you. Number four, Baltimore Ravens. I don't think that's too far off either. I don't. Number five, the Detroit Lions. They are number five. And then you can look at six. I think they disrespected the Bills. The Bills should be higher, in my opinion. They had one of the best O-lines, and they're playing again. So
where are the Chargers?
You know what? That's another great point.
Chargers
should be
top six.
Are not. They're 10th.
Chargers are better than all these teams. Rashawn Slater, Bradley Bozeman, Zion Johnson, Mekhi Becton. Who's Joe Alt? Like, what are we talking about?
Yeah, I don't know why the Chargers are that low.
Chargers should be top six.
I just kind of lost some respect for this list. But anyway, do we agree? Do we think the Lions O-line is top five? Vikings O-line. I think what they did with the Vikings, the reason why I think they're not on this is because the continuity part.
Yeah.
I think they added a new tackle, or a new guard and new center in the offseason. So I don't think they're here yet because they haven't played together yet. But I would agree Vikings should be higher. I think the Bills should be higher, and I think the Chargers should be higher. So I think the Lions would probably be, like I said already, the Lions offensive line when healthy, probably anywhere from the 7 to 10 range.
Yeah, I think the one thing that you can argue, like with the Lions, especially if you're ranking on, because we did do the offensive line rankings. I think we all had the Lions at like 6 around there, 7 after Frank. I remember we did it, and so we respected them. But losing Frank Ragnow, again, the point that we made when that happened was, if you're going to still say the Lions are a top 3 D line or top 4, top 5 after the Frank departure, at that point, you're kind of diminishing what Frank Ragnow was to this O-line, right? Like you're kind of being like, oh, he didn't really mean that. No, he meant a lot. So I think that's one of the biggest points with it. The reason I think, Jeff, maybe I'm wrong with this, that they had the Lions a little higher, because you did say they ranked it by 6 different categories, essentially. When you look at the scheme, I think the scheme of this Lions offense and the O-line with Panay and Taylor Decker, I think one of the better schemes probably in the NFL. I know Ben left, but I think just as a running game and what they've built, I think you can argue that's there. Coaching with Hank Fraley, I think that puts them up very high, probably the second best O-line coach in the entire NFL. And then as much as you might, and people might want to push back on it, quality additions. It depends, I guess, how you value the quality additions. But at the end of the day, they did bring in Tate Ratledge, Miles Frazier last year, bring in Christian Mahogany. So the additions to the O-line now, Tristan Colon, you see there, they've made additions to this whole line. So that might be a reason why they also put him up there. Now the continuity, the only guys essentially is Taylor Decker and Panay. You could say Graham, but Graham's just been moving around everywhere at this point. So you really only have two guys that have been solidified in their spots. The depth. Yeah, I guess they have depth. You could argue that. And then the vet / youth, it's just it's all youth outside of Panay and
yeah, they have all youth. And the coaching, that's obviously
so I
factor in too. So based on his qualifications, man, I think they're probably a little lower, but not too far. They're probably in the same range, kind of like the D line. I mean, if we're going off rankings nationally, you probably, let's just say safely, top 10 D line, top 10 O line. That's pretty good. All right, if you want to say top 7, that's fine. It's a pretty good position to be in when you're a team that prioritizes the trenches, right? I mean, you got top 10 on both sides of the ball. So we'll see what happens. A lot of uncertainty with the O line, man. And by the way, shout out Rich Hustle. Shout out Rich Hustle. Shout out that guy up north. Did I miss the Pistons talk?
Yes.
8:30 or 8:15.
40 minutes of it.
Yeah, you can rewind, go back. It's over an hour back. First 15 minutes of the show. We talked with Corey, and we talked Pistons after that. So first 45 minutes of the show, really. So you can go back and watch that. But yeah, there's a lot of uncertainty there. A lot of youth. I think with guys like Tate Ratledge, you got to see what he turns into. You know, if he's very good his rookie year and is just excellent, then we can have a different argument and be like, wow, Tate Ratledge is great. Maybe we need to bump them up. Or Christian Mahogany, if he's the breakout player that I still believe he can be, then we have to have a different conversation. Or if Graham ends up playing some good football, like I think some of it rides on some of those guys. Where would you put them in the NFL? Depends on those guys. And I know you didn't get to kind of get your thoughts out there yesterday, Booner, with this Lane Johnson, Panay Sewell stuff. But because you were over there grinding the Pistons pick. What'd you make of the easy stirred up with Eagles fans, coming at him and them just going at each other about not only the PFF stuff, but Lane versus Panay? Because I said yesterday, I think it's a pointless discussion. That's what I do agree with Mitchell. It's like we're arguing 1 and 2. It's preference. Yeah. I would prefer Panay. People can say Lane. I'm not going to say they're wrong. But what do you think of it?
Yeah, I kind of touched on it yesterday. I just with the Panay thing, and I heard Easy say it, and I think it was the best point made out of anyone. It's just like, hey, Lane Johnson, overall career-wise, you can put over Panay Sewell for what he's done in his career. He's an older player. He's been around longer. But I don't see a world where you look at, like, currently, this guy is in year 4. Like, he's so young. How old is Panay Sewell still? What's his age?
Panay is 24, 25.
24 years old. This guy is born in 2000. We're talking about a 24-year-old over a 35-year-old. 11 years difference. And you're sitting here being like, yeah, well, Panay is the best run blocker in the NFL, and Lane is the best pass blocker. Lane Johnson has had a full career. By the end of their careers, Jeff, guess who's going to have a better career and be better?
I think it'll be Panay, man.
100%. 100%. How many first-team All-Pros do you think Lane Johnson has at 35 years old?
5, 6.
2 first-team All-Pros. At 24 years old, how many first-team All-Pros does Panay Sewell have?
2.
So you're telling me over the next 7 to 8 years, Panay Sewell's going to just keep stacking these things up, man. He will. He has 2 first-team All-Pros already. 3-time Pro Bowler. What does Lane Johnson have? 6 Pro Bowl. It's, to me, by the end of their careers, it's not going to be close. It's going to be Panay Sewell. And if right now, listen, if people want to have the victory lap with Lane Johnson, go ahead and have it for his career right now, because it's not going to last that long. But currently right now, it's Panay Sewell who's next man up. And it's for Lane. Hey, man, it's time's gone. You can keep doing what you're doing right now, but hey, it's Panay Sewell's and it's his league now. He's the best offensive lineman in the NFL. Now, again, I said it yesterday. If you want to argue the Tristan Wirfs thing, the Lane Johnson, whatever, man, I think everyone can have a solid point, and I can hear it out and not be mad. But just in my humble opinion, I think it's Penei Sewell, man.
Yeah, I think Lane is an incredible athlete. But I think Penei at his age, what they can do with him, with his athleticism, is something that you have to factor in. I mean, they get him out in space. You know, he is an absolute Mack truck, and he destroys people. So, and he's a really good pass blocker too. He does it all. He's one of the best. I think he's the best run blocking offensive lineman in the league. And he's a really, really, really good pass blocker. So he does a lot of special things, and he can catch passes if he needs to. All right. They got to throw him the rock a little bit. But no, I agree with that. I don't think it's that big of a difference here. We'll get to mailbag. We got about 13 minutes left. So drop your mailbag questions in the chat. I see one popped up, and it's from Rich Hustle. Do y'all feel like John Morton can fill Ben's shoes? Because I feel like the Lions didn't have a winning season until John joined in 2022, but we'll see. I think that's the wrong way to look at it, Rich Hustle. Not you, but the question. Do you feel John Morton can fill Ben's shoes? He doesn't have to fill Ben's shoes because Ben did historic things with this offense, and that has to be respected. Now let's talk about John Morton. John Morton doesn't have to fill Ben's shoes. That shouldn't be the pressure he's under. I think what John Morton has to do is keep this engine rolling. And it doesn't mean historic and score the break franchise record for points. Just keep them at a very good offense.
Yep.
And you're cool with John. I think it's unfair to be like, does he have to do exactly what Ben did? I don't think he does. You know, I don't. So don't get that in your head, guys. Don't hold John Morton to Ben Johnson standards. Ben Johnson is one of the best play callers in the league. And now people can say he's not because he's not a Lion, but when he was here, we had no problem saying it. But let's just not hold John. That's not fair to John Morton. You know what I mean? Like, let's just keep John his own. Hey, just keep this offense very good. Everyone will be happy.
Yeah, that's where I mean, if you go in with expectations that it's going to be like a Ben Johnson offense that level, you'll probably be disappointed at the end of the day. And so, I think John's going to be fine though. I just like my opinion, Rich Hustle, is that at the end of the day, John Morton has all the weapons that Ben has, and I truly believe this, and Dan has said it a million times. It's the players who make the plays. Like, I could go in there and call plays and be like, hand the ball to Jahmyr Gibbs. Guess what Jahmyr Gibbs is going to do? He's going to go out there and make plays. Like, I could have the worst offense in the world. You have some of the most talented players in the NFL on this offense. And you have Penei Sewell blocking. You have Jared Goff, a very, very solid quarterback in the NFL over his career. You have Jahmyr Gibbs. You have Amon-Ra St. Brown. You have Sam. You have so much in this offense. Jamison Williams, David Montgomery. At the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. It's like, hey, do you have playmakers? Yes, you do. It's kind of hard to mess it up with the playmakers that you have. Now, will there be a little regression when it comes to maybe being up in here? You know what I'm saying? Up and down when it comes to the numbers, points per games, yards per games. Yeah, it might go down a little bit, but you're still going to have a really good offense.
All right, let's see. We'll get to our next question. Ben Blue, what do y'all think is easier to replace and have success with? Can only replace one, a GM or head coach? That's a great question.
It's easier to replace and have success
All
with.
right. What do you think is easier to replace and have success with? Okay, so
I have an opinion on this.
Go ahead. I'm curious what you say.
I've had this opinion since day one because we talked about who has. You know what question this ties into, Jeff? It's the question of who's made the biggest impact for the Detroit Lions turnaround. Fila, Brad, or Dan? You remember my answer the whole time? Who changed the culture? Whose culture is it right now in Detroit?
Stan Campbell.
It's Dan. Dan's gone. Culture's gone. And I think I love Brad Holmes, one of the best GMs in the NFL right now. Very good talent evaluator. Very good at building a roster. Has done it the right way. I do think that when you do, like, Brad could bring all the players he wants in. If you don't have a culture, they're not going to do anything. They're not going to have opportunities. I think Dan building the culture and doing what he does opens up that door for a lot of players and helps them kind of grow and sprout into the players that they are.
I would say for me, I would lean easier to replace. I know the Dan Campbell one's a unique situation, but I would typically say it is a tough question to answer. I would say I'd rather replace the head coach, if I'm being honest, because look at what Philly did. They won 2 different Super Bowls with 2 different head coaches, but you know what they had? Howie Roseman. It just depends. I mean, if you have it just depends on how high level is your GM. Do I have like the best? Because then obviously it's much easier. But if it's just on a typical basis, if you have a good GM, you don't want to let that guy go. Or if it's hard to replace that guy. You know, as a head coach.
You can't replace the culture. The culture's the culture, man.
What is Dan if he doesn't have good players?
What are the players if they don't have a good culture? How many good Jeff? And every single league, every single professional league, how many times have we seen good players go to bad cultures and end up not working out?
The culture I understand, but sometimes teams don't always have shit culture.
I think it goes both ways. If I'm being honest with you, we're arguing this.
It's pretty close.
I think it's 50-50, to be honest. I think you need the players and you need the culture, man.
Like Martin Mayhew and Jim Caldwell. It's like
the teams that win championships are teams that have literally a good culture and a GM that can get players. That's literally so. It's like I don't think you can choose one. As dumb as that sounds, I don't think you can choose one or the other. I think they're both equal.
Steve O'Baby says, mailbag, who had the biggest turnaround in Detroit, AJ Hinch or Dan Campbell?
Oh, dude, that's a good question. I don't know. Dan took one of the worst rosters in NFL history.
Yeah, I would say organizational. You have to hold that. You have to have that to some degree. I would say probably Dan because of how much of a laughing stock the Lions were. You know, the Tigers, yes, but at least the Tigers held some historical weight. The Lions had zero historical weight in sports history. Like they were the laughing stock. The only thing you could think of is players. Think of Barry or Kelvin. So yeah, I would say Dan based on just how bad the franchise is or was. Same old Lions was a term. Okay.
You know what? So you're saying Dan?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go Dan as well. Because they both came to Detroit in 2021, it looks like here. Dan Campbell, and obviously AJ Hinch has one more season here in 2025. Let's just look at their first 4 seasons. In their first 4 seasons, AJ Hinch had 1 winning season in 4 seasons. Dan Campbell had 3 winning seasons in 4 years. Took over a historically bad franchise. And you know what Dan Campbell did that AJ Hinch didn't do? Conference championship game. Took him to it. 1 game away from going to the Super Bowl. AJ Hinch has 1 playoff game, so is Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell almost took him to the Super Bowl. AJ Hinch is right there. After this year, I mean, there's a good convo about it, but
yeah,
until it happens.
Let's see, Edward. Mailbag. Do you think Ragnow helps Ratledge with the center position, like advice by watching some game tape technique calls?
Helps Ratledge.
Okay, so I'll say this on that. I think Ragnow is the type of guy where he can be like, I'm always a call away. You know, like you can call me and ask questions, and he's willing to help. Like he seems like a super just good dude. But I don't think it's going to be a thing where like it's going to be Hank Fraley helping him play center.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think Frank will be kind of like trying to think of a good comparison. Maybe this is a little extreme, but it's like when Jameer got here with Barry. It's like Barry was like there telling him like, hey, these are things that, as a running back, I can tell you, but it's like it's going to be, he's not the running back coach. Like Hank Fraley's not going to, or Frank Ragnow's not going to be like Hank Fraley. You know what I'm saying? He's not going to go.
I think Hank's like
Hank's the
Deuces, guy, man. Like he'll probably be around, but I just enjoy
like,
retirement.
Let me fish. Let me do my thing. Like maybe a call. Hey man, I struggle with this. Whatever.
I'm interested when we go to training camp. Like I wonder if Frank will be around. I mean, you'll know right away then. But I don't think so. I think if that was the case, he would have been at mini camp or call away maybe. But
I could see. I'm with you though. He's more of a. I'm going to fish. I don't.
Yeah.
Diggity Dog, and by the way, he deserves that. Sorry if I missed this. I'm late today. Is Gentry covering the NHL draft tomorrow? Maybe. So here's the thing. I think there's some. I don't think that we're gonna have a show tomorrow. I think Caleb is moving into his new place. I just don't think it's gonna happen tomorrow. I will confirm that for you guys. But if not, we will talk with Gentry next week. We'll have Gentry. We can talk about the draft. and ask questions and have him on the show. So we will talk about this draft pick, Carter Bear. It's just I don't know if it'll be tomorrow. All right, I don't know if it'll be tomorrow. So yeah, there you go with that. Let's see. Shift God mailbag. What's more likely, Broderick gets cut or Terran Arnold gets 3 to 5 interceptions this year? Broderick gets cut.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if that happens, man. That's such a heartbreaking one too.
They're just so stacked. You know what I mean? There's so many guys.
Terry on 3 to 5 interceptions, though. That would be something, huh?
I mean, they could both happen, you know?
Yeah.
They both happen.
I mean, I think Terrion gets more. I think Terrion gets 2 this year. I'll go 2. Is that fair?
Can I call it every game?
2? No, you can't. Can I call 2 on the year?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. I'm going to call every game. I'm betting it. He's getting it today. Come on. I might even, yeah, we'll talk about that when the season starts. That'll be fun. Bottom line mailbag. Favorite player on the Rams? Matthew Stafford. Or favorite player for my Rams? Matthew Stafford. No
Stafford.
doubt.
Yeah,
I'm a big Stafford guy, man.
Me too.
I don't care what anybody says. I know you've been consistent with that too. I've never.
The what I hate, and I know people are going to hate this and I love how it gets people going a little bit. I enjoy things like that. People who don't think that his number should be retired in Detroit. I think that's crazy.
That's ridiculous.
People just say because and you know what? Shout out Sticks. Sticks one of the biggest ones that's like hates Stafford because he never won here and he thinks, dude, if someone's in your city that long and goes through what he did, it's hard. In my opinion, dude, you gotta respect it, man. He's a Hall of Famer. You gotta have respect for guys
He's
like
gonna
that.
be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
I mean, and guys, can we just learn to appreciate a player?
That's what I hate. It's just like
I get it's fanatic. It's fan stands for fanatic. It's our team versus your team. If you're not on our team, fuck you. You know, I respect it. But can we just like have a real conversation? You know, you're at the bar, you're having a beer, and you're like, hey, dude, Matthew was pretty fucking good. Like, can we just talk about that? Like, of the
moments that he had in Detroit is just like that's the one thing, like, dude.
Jeez, man.
We talk about the grit in Detroit, like that guy. He was it.
Dude,
like,
I mean, yeah.
It like dictionary definition, and that's why it's like Klotz hates it. It's like, dude, like, how did you watch 10 to 12 years of Lions football and not at the end of it be like, I respect Matthew Stafford so much for what, and I get it. Like, you want him to win. I get it, man. Like, he never got over that hump. I get it. The fact he went to LA the next year and won a Super Bowl, there's just no question after that. There's not. It was the organization all along, and then the organization switches ownership, and then things start to change. And guess what happens? You start to win. It's just like connect the dots. Let's stop being irresponsible and not put it all together.
Me, to be honest with you, Boone, is the people that say Matthew didn't give us any playoff wins. Did he play well in some moments? No, but the fact is. Or are those same people going to say that the playoff win when they beat the Rams, are we going to give 1,000% of the credit to Dan Campbell, or are we going to give it to Jared Goff? Oh, so you want to give some of it to the head coach, right? You want to give some of it to Brad Holmes for finding players. That's what happens to win playoff games, man. It's a collective thing. You need good players. Yeah. You need a quarterback to play well. You need a great head coach. They never had any of that. But
I hate people who don't give respect to players like that. I hate it.
It takes more than just a quarterback, man. You need a fucking team. You need an organization. You need a head coach. You need a GM. You know,
that's honestly, it's one of my biggest pet peeves is like people.
And when Matthew got that, they won. You know, It's like
he literally won the next year. It's just like when he had the right pieces in place. That's why I think the people are like, he's not a win. He literally did it the year after he left.
Yeah, as soon as he left. Yeah, it is what it is.
And it's like, dude, connect the dots. Oh, what happened as well? Ownership change in Detroit. Wow, it's like such a everything all goes together, and the fact that people just don't give it, just disrespect. That's why I understood the playoff hate during it. Man, I hope the man did so much in Detroit, dude. He really did.
Xavier Stafford had to beat Brady. See, I don't want to turn but Xavier's. By the way, Xavier's absolutely right. Great show today, though. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Please come out to the Rocket Mortgage Classic. The Rocket Classic will be there. You'll be there tomorrow.
They're all day tomorrow. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're not going to be there tomorrow, will you?
Yep, I'll be there championship Sunday with the boys. We'll be there pretty much hanging out, having a blast. So, yeah, pull up,
Should
man.
be fun.
Hang out. Crowd's electric. It's fun.
It is a great time out there, man. It is a great time.
Come on, let's do it. All right, but we will catch you maybe on Monday. I don't know if we'll have a show tomorrow, but until
Probably
then,
Monday, 8:00. Love
have
you
a good
guys.
weekend, everyone. Much love. Peace.